Hey y'all, welcome to Farm Girl Friday. We're out in the middle of the yearlings pasture on this beautiful day. So hey guys, we're out here in the yearling pasture. I meant to do this before I brought her over here because little Blueberry has not been shedding off very good this spring. And normally this type of cattle does not, at least her herd she comes from, they tend to keep like a brown tint to them after their winter coat. So I use pour-on ivermectin for worming. And like I said, I meant to do this before I put her out in the pasture because I do not want this wormer hurting my dung beetles, but I forgot to do it. So I'm going to treat this one little girl. You can see where she's still pretty brown. And I wanted to show y'all how I doctor my cows out here in the pasture. So Boo, you ready? Whoop. Oh my goodness. All done. So I do pride myself in not using any chemicals or antibiotics on my cows. Wormer, however, is the one thing that I will use because out of anything, I do not want a parasite killing my cows. And you can tell, like, these girls here are still pretty fluffy and brown, but Boo is just extra. And I wouldn't have wormed her but for the fact she is just acting pretty peaked out here, where Glim Glim had her buddy. So the three factors that made me believe that this little girl has parasites is 1, her very bad coat that's not shedded off. 2, she's been out here in this beautiful spring forage and has lost weight instead of gaining it. So her body condition's going down. Plus, she just doesn't act like she feels good. So those 3 factors, if it was just 1 or maybe even 2 of them, I would not have wormed her, especially out here in my pastures where it could harm my dung beetles. But because she is also really not feeling good and showing some bad symptoms, I went ahead and wormed her out here. So unlike most people that get this issue with a parasite with one animal, I am not going to come out here and treat every single one of my herd. If somebody else starts showing extra symptoms of a overload of parasites, I will treat them the same way I did Blueberry. But there is no reason to have them chemicals flowing through my cattle without a actual problem. So there's no, well, the whole scenario is there's no reason to treat something that may or may not be there. 1, it can cause the parasites to get immune to the wormer I'm using. 2, it's very, very harmful to my soil and microorganisms that are growing my beautiful grass. And 3, I don't want those chemicals rushing through my beef. Granted, most of these little fellas are heifers, so they're not going to be beef anyway. Like, I was going to eat Boo. Like, no. So, but it harms my beef, and that is the whole purpose of sustainable agriculture, is to not be out here using a chemical as my band-aid for every little thing. So Boo needed extra attention, and Boo got it, but everybody else is perfectly healthy and happy, so they don't need that extra attention right now. So even though I'm not 100% chemical free, it's pretty close. My cows, if they even do get wormed, it might be once in their lifetime. And normally it's just before or after a big move like little Blueberry's gone on. And the only reason I was going to worm her when she was at my house is because she's been in with our goats for so long, and she just had more of a reason to pick up parasites than anybody else has who came off of their mamas in rotational pastures like they're in now. Cows! Come on! So this is the only second time I've ever moved all these little fellas that are together. Come on, cows! Come on, cows! And they're just gonna stand there and stare at me. Alright, so you have to prove to them that it's open. So I normally come over here and walk through it a few times where I've made an opening. Come on, cows! I'm normally calling them, which I wasn't doing at that moment. So left this one white post up, which proves to them that the fence might still be here. So we're gonna take that, put it over there where I'm gonna put it up later. Come on, cows! So I got one, and then they slowly start coming. Come on, cows! They're standing there and yelling at the other ones that are getting grass, and they're not, because they can't figure out how to get around a corner. You gotta love it. Their baby's in a second time rotation for the year. They have to have a shade tree in every single rotation, so their other shade tree's way over there. Or they just die of a heat stroke in these 75-degree days. Friday, we are out here checking cows. Boo has been put in her own little rotation because she cannot figure out how to drink out of the pond, and the big cows are shoving her around. So we're gonna make sure she can drink out of the pond, and she's only one little cow, so she's gonna be ahead of the big ones in the rotations. So she's gonna go ahead and be out here figuring out how to drink, and then we'll put her back in with the other ones in a little bit. My phone has cut itself off twice because it thinks it's too hot out here. It is literally 82 degrees. I don't know what it's gonna do in June. You can just barely see Boo.